Hi everyone, my name's Kelly. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome back if you've been before. Lovely to have you either way. On this channel we talk books. Today I'm doing something a little bit different to my usual fare on my channel because I have noticed that I have quite a lot of books sitting on my quote-unquote currently reading shelf digitally, my digital shelf. They're all dispersed in various locations. Well, they're not now because I've gathered them together to show you. However, let me just tell you. Okay, so iPad. This is my StoryGraph. I've opened up my current reads and you won't be able to see that from where you are, but I currently have 5 books on my current reads shelf. However, if you scroll down, the fantastic feature that that StoryGraph implemented was a pause feature. So if you look at my paused books, you will see that there is a further 14. That is a total of 19 books, and that is a very high number. So my thought is I would like to declutter my currently reading and paused, let's call them folders on StoryGraph, by reading some of the books, getting them off, but also by DNFing some of these paused books that might have been soft DNFs when I initially put them in the paused folder. So we're going to go down. I'm going to show you all of the books. There's 2 that I don't have physical copies of because I am reading them. One is on an ebook and one is an audio book, so I don't have physical copies of those, but everything else I do, which means that I have a lot of books that are physical TBR books that I have been wanting to get to. The other way that we might move things out of the paused folder is if I feel like they've been sitting there for far too long and I can't remember what's going on, we might delete the progress and pop it back onto the TBR to start again. That's another option to keep out there. And then we will summarize, see where we're up to, have made hopefully some progress here, and we'll be able to go into November with the project of reading what I can off my currently reading and paused folders on StoryGraph. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to start by showing you the books that are on my current reads at the moment. The first one is 365 Poems for Life by Esiri, compiled by Esiri. The poets they're all different poets for each poem. This is a book that I am chipping away at, reading a poem a day. There have been some days that I haven't read and I've had to do a little catch up, but I've done it most days. So I'm pretty pleased with my progress here. I'm up to date, so I'm filming this today is the 2nd of November, and I'm currently up to date with the poem for the 2nd of November. I anticipate that I will be finishing this book on the 31st of December. So that's this one. That can sit there. That's fine. No problems. The second book that is on the list is The Safekeep by Yael van der Wouden. This is the book that won the Women's Prize, I want to say. Yes, and last year in 2024 it was shortlisted for the Booker Prize, which is what it says on the front. This copy obviously precedes it winning the Women's Prize. I am actively reading this book. I am currently up to page 58. I'm at the end of chapter 4. I will definitely continue on with this book and keep it on my currently reading for now. The next book is one that I don't have a physical copy of, and that is The Once and Future Witches by Alix E. Harrow. I am reading this one digitally. I have paused it for now. I haven't moved it to the pause shelf. I paused it because I had been reading it right before bed, and then I was having some weird dreams and I decided it wasn't a before bed book, which makes it tricky because that is probably the time that I do the most reading. So I'm 46% of the way through. I intend to finish this book. I just need to find a good time to read it. So it's possible that I won't be able to read it in November. November's a very busy month for me with my work because I'm a teacher. It is report writing season for us, so at least here in Australia. So I will be spending a lot of my days off doing work. So we'll see what we can get done when it's not before bed reading, but we'll do what we can. Okay, that one I am happy to keep on. The next book that I have is James by Percival Everett. Now, I actually started listening to this one on audiobook, although I have a physical copy as well. I think I will keep listening to it on audiobook while I still have it because it's borrowed from the library, and if I don't finish it before it's due back, then I will continue on reading the physical copy rather than waiting for the audiobook to come in again. So that is an audiobook that I currently have on. So far we've got my kind of devotional, we've got a physical book I'm reading, we've got an ebook I'm reading, and we've got an audiobook I'm reading. These are my sort of like what I've kind of got on the go. And the last one that's on the go is a middle grade book called PAWS by Kate Foster, which I started some time ago, and I'm only up to chapter 3, page 16. So I'm not very far into this one, but I feel like when I do pick it up, it's going to be a quick read. I put it down because the initial scene was a little bit sad, like the opening scene of the book, and I had some feelings about it, so I was like, I just can't read this right now. I just need to put it down. So I need to get back to this one and pick it back up, but I do intend to finish this book. So all of those that are on my currently reading shelf in that folder, fine. Now we get on to the 14 paused books, and here is where we need to make some tough decisions. Okay, I feel like this is going to be the first of my DNFs, and I think I put it in this folder as a soft DNF, and that is Stolen by Ann-Helén Laestadius. I was reading this one for my Reading Around the World book club, our book for Sweden. Yes, Sweden. And I am not into it. Like, I actually am actively, I don't care, which is terrible. Okay, here was the thing, right? I started this book on audiobook and I didn't get along with the audiobook narrator. And I was like, that's probably the problem. Let me give it a little bit more time. I continued reading it. I took it down to the snow, which I spoke about this as being a book that I was bringing with me to the snow. I did attempt to read, I read some of it while I was at the snow. I got up to page 152, which is, I'm up to chapter 37. And it is a, how many page book? 381 page book. So I'm not quite halfway through. Yes, that's correct. It's saying I'm 38% of the way through, though I need to double check that I am actually up to date with my, I can't look at it right now. Anyway, we've gone into the next section of it now, so there are sort of, it's broken up into sections. So the part 1 is when the main character is a child. Part 2, it's now, so we started in 2008. Part 2 is 2018. So 10 years have passed. In the beginning, she kind of witnesses witnesses a crime, but she gets threatened by the person who does the crime, that if she tells, he will kill her. So she doesn't say anything. And it's sort of the consequences of her not saying anything. And then we're 10 years later, and I just am finding that I don't care for the character at all. So I actually don't think it was an audiobook problem, although that did compound it. I think this is not a book for me. So I think this is going to be our first actual DNF. We are going to DNF Stolen. It is gone. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. All right. We're just reassuring ourselves that everything is fine. We can DNF books that we are not enjoying. All right. The next book that I have on my paused is Silverborn, The Mystery of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This is book 4 in the series. This was a book that I have been anticipating for so long. I've been so excited for it to come out. It arrived. Woohoo! And I put it down and read other books. I need to get back to it. So this is one that I will continue on with. Possibly will wait until I have finished PAWS, because this is also a middle grade, and I think it would make sense to have just sort of keep a sensible collection of books on my actual currently reading. So it's going to remain paused for now, but I do intend to finish this one, and I would like to finish it before the end of the year. So that one is staying. The next book is Song of the Crocodile by Nardi Simpson. I took this book with me because when I went to the South Coast Readers and Writers Festival this year, because Nardi Simpson was there. This is a book I owned but hadn't yet read. I started it while I was there, and I did start listening to some of it on audiobook and also reading some of it as well. I'm currently on page 88, up to chapter 14. And it is a book that is roughly 400 pages long. So I'm a decent chunk into it, not quite a quarter of the way. So I would like to finish this one. This one is going to stay paused for now, but I will rotate it in. I think I don't know if I prefer this on the audiobook or if I prefer this in written. I think maybe written, so maybe that's going to be one that I cycle back in when I finish the Safekeep. I'm just looking at the rest of the pile here. This feels like the one I'm most excited to continue with once my currently reading is a normal amount. Okay, that one is staying, and it will come back. The next book is another audiobook, and this is another one that I don't have a physical copy of. It is Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. I think that, so I'm 35% of the way through, and I think this is going to be our next DNF, because I'm just finding, although I'm not having the worst time when I'm listening to it, I'm just not that interested, and there's nothing that's kind of drawing me back to keep listening to it. So I think I'm going to call it on this one, and we're going to say that is a DNF as well. So far we have DNF'd 2 from the pause, and we are keeping 2. Next one. Okay, the next one is Briefly a Delicious Life by Nell Stevens. This is a book that I had on my 24 in 24 last year, books that I was very excited to read. I am still excited to read this book. I'm just not a lot of the way through it, and the reason that I had to put it down was I had other priorities at the time. So currently I am up to page 72. Actually, that's not too bad. I need to double check that that number is correct. That number cannot be correct. I must have read on and then not updated it before I paused it. Okay, so there are only 323 pages. I'm up to page 73. So, and at the moment it's saying 12%. That can't be right. I wouldn't say that maths is my strong suit, but that doesn't sound right. Anyway, I will double check that. However, I am very keen to read this book. I really would like to read it before the end of the year, so I think this is one that will stay paused for now, and it's going to be part of the project, the big reading project. Okay, the next one is The Echoes by Evie Wyld. This book I think only... Ooh, dusty. This book came out this year, I'm pretty sure. No, last year, my mistake. Yes, that makes sense because I paused it in February. So, this book was one I was very interested in. Couldn't tell you what it's about from I'd have to look at the synopsis again. But it is one that I do want to keep reading. The reason that I paused this one was I was listening to it on audiobook and I wasn't getting along with the audio narration, and I thought it would be better to read in physical copy. So I purchased a physical copy and I purchased it at full price. I definitely do want to keep reading it. I was interested in the story, I just didn't get along with the audiobook narrator. So this is one that I do want to continue on with. Have I left it so long that I can't remember what's going on? Maybe a little bit. So I'm up to page 50. I'm wondering if maybe I will need to reread. But perhaps what I'll do is I will skim up to page 50 just to kind of remind myself what's going on, because it's been a long time. Whereas like Briefly a Delicious Life, that's more vivid to me in memory of where I'm up to, whereas this one I'm less so, but that's probably because I wasn't getting along with the audiobook. All right. I think that's the decision. It's going to sit. I'm going to skim the 50 pages just to remind myself what's going on, who the characters are, and then I'll be able to continue on with that one. It's not super long. It's 230 pages or so. Yeah. So I think I should be able to manage that one. Okay. Next one. This is another one that is from the Reading Around the World book club. It's Femme by Magda Carneci. I don't know if that's how you say the author's name. This is the book that we chose for Romania. And it was a bit... I feel like I don't remember anything about this at all. And I was up to page 44 of 240. I think this is going to have to be because I don't remember a single thing about what's going on, other than it being a bit weird, and that's why I put it down, because I had other priorities at the time. I was like, I'm not understanding what's going on here. I need to turn my brain back on. So I think this might be a candidate for just deleting the data on, even though I'm 20% basically through the book, and then we'll restart it when my brain is in the right gear, so it just goes back onto the TBR shelf. I think that's what I'm going to do, because I don't remember a single thing about it. Okay. Next one's a chunky one, and that's the main reason that I put it down. It's The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty. This is 483 pages long. I paused this in December of 2024, but I have a strong feeling that I had only read a tiny little bit more at that time, and then I had paused it and I haven't come back to it. So we are now in the territory of books that I paused last year, probably like when the pause feature came back in. I am 44 pages through this, which if I'm up to date is 9%. However, I would say I actually do remember some of this. It's basically I'm midway through chapter 3 when I put it down. And I was listening to this on audiobook, but I actually think I would prefer to read this, the paper version. And I think I do want to keep reading it, even though it's been a really long time. So I think I'm going to put it back onto the pause pile and we'll keep going with it. All right, the next one is another one I'm actually still quite excited to read, which is To Shape a Dragon's Breath by Monocle Blackgoose. This is, I got up to a really interesting, like basically a turning point, a hinge point of the story, and that's where I paused, and I still do remember it relatively vividly. I'd probably just need to, and I've got notes that I was taking about characters and so on, so I think I will continue on with that one. That's an easy leave it on the pause pile. Okay. The next book is a book that I have been reading with my husband. So this is actually, and we've had this one, we haven't read any of it at all this year because I've paused it according to here on the 23rd of December 2024. And that is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I was assigned this book to read when I was in year 10 at school, and I didn't read it. And I've never read Rebecca. I have to say, I'm not super loving it, but I was enjoying the process of us reading it together because we were just sort of doing a chapter. And we also did just get to a pretty crazy point. We're up to page 240. It's just very long-winded and I'm not enjoying the story, but maybe it's about to get better. So we're at 240 of 440-ish pages, which tells me that we should keep going, I think, with this one. But again, this is one that's going to sort of be just sitting there, and we'll read it when we read it, but maybe I just need to prioritize that. We need to keep going with that. I have to press load more. That's how many books are on this pause shelf. Okay, on to another one that I started, which is The Vagus Nerve Reset, Train Your Body to Heal Stress, Trauma and Anxiety by Anna Ferguson. This is another one where I was listening to the audiobook and I was like, no, I need to actually read the words of this, and I feel like it's something I might want to like annotate so that I can understand. And also they were referring to, I think, potentially some graphics, but I'm not seeing any here. And I don't have a bookmark in here because I was listening to it on audiobook. But I got 23% of the way in, so I don't know what that would be equivalent to. But this is another one where I think it's gone too long, and I want to reread and annotate anyway. So I think what I'm going to do is delete the data, and this one goes back onto the TBR. Okay, I feel like we're making some progress here. This is good. Okay, the next one, Song of the Sun God by Shankari Chandra, and this was another one that was that I paused last year. And it's one that was on my 24 in 24. I had started it, but the time that I started it, it's set in Sri Lanka, at least the first bit of it is, and it's very like evocative of hot weather, and I had started reading it, I think it must have been autumn or winter of 2024, and I was just like, it's not the vibe. It wasn't the right vibe for the time. So I put it down with the view to picking it back up in the summer. Our summer is over December, January and February. Obviously, I picked it up a little bit, but I didn't pick it up enough to finish it. So this is one I do want to finish. But yeah, so this will go back onto the pause. And we are coming up to hotter weather now in the Southern Hemisphere, so I think that it is something that I could potentially pick up again shortly. Okay, 2 more books to go. The next one is called Thunderhead by Miranda Darling. This one is a really short book. It's 160 pages, and I got 16% of the way in, which was page 26. And I can tell you right now, I paused it in December of 2024. I do not remember a thing about this book, so I am going to need to go back. So we're going to delete the data on that one because I can't remember it at all. But I do want to read it. Last book is Hard by a Great Forest by Leo Vardiashvili. Apologies if I've said that incorrectly. This is a book that I started on audiobook, and I got 10% of the way through, and I just wasn't getting along with the audiobook, but I had already purchased the physical copy, so it wasn't a case of not going out and buying it because I wasn't getting along with the audiobook. But yeah, I'm not that far in. Do I remember enough of it? I vaguely remember that the characters had gone... The parent was missing? Somebody was missing. I feel like I don't remember enough of it. And I'm not that far into it, so I think this might be another one where we delete the data, start again at a time when I'm ready to come back to this book. Okay. That's the end of the list. So we have, let's recap, shall we? Because I haven't deleted any of the data on my list, so I need to go through it. So everything that's on my currently reading, we are keeping and we are currently reading. Moving on to our paused books, we are DNFing 2 books. One is Stolen by Ann-Helén Laestadius. I'm not enjoying that one. It is going. And the other one is Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, which was on audiobook. The books that we are going to reset, so we're going to delete the data on and come back to at another time because I'm going to need to restart them. Hard by a Great Forest, Thunderhead by Miranda Darling, The Vagus Nerve Reset by Anna Ferguson, and Femme by Magda Carneci. So those ones are going to disappear from my paused. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 books off the 14, which leaves us still with 8 books. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they are all physical books. So there's nothing here that I don't have a physical copy of. Daphne du Maurier we're going to just read when we can, but the ones that we're going to be keeping on and hopefully getting to will be part of this project. Song of the Sun God by Shankari Chandran. I'm going to hold on to Rebecca. To Shape a Dragon's Breath by Monocle Blackgoose. The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty. The Echoes by Evie, Wyld, and we're going to just sort of briefly skim over the 50 pages that I have already read. Briefly A Delicious Life by Nell Stevens. Song of the Crocodile. I'm putting these books in front of the light, which is silly. Let's try that again. Song of the Crocodile by Nardi Simpson. And Silverborn, The Mystery of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend, book 4 in that series. So that leaves us, not counting...
Hello.
Sorry about that. My father-in-law has just turned up at the door. I'm just going to very quickly finish off so that I can then go and entertain our guest. So I've got 2 books that are just going to sit and be read when we're ready. So that is the 365 Poems for Life and Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. So those ones I'm not going to count as part of this sort of challenge that I'm setting for myself. However, these 3 that are on, plus the other one, the Once and Future Witches, so 4. So 4 books that are on my currently reading, plus 8 books that are on the pause. So here's the challenge that I want to set for myself. I want to try and finish as many of these as I can before the end of the year, preferably in November, which is a crazy thing for me to set for myself to do because of the aforementioned report writing that I have to do at the moment. So whether I get there or not is another matter entirely, but that is my plan. So the 14 books we're going to continue on with and try and finish as many of them as we can before the end of the year, hopefully, preferably in November. So thank you very much for watching. I'm putting this out there into the universe so that it will help to keep me accountable and that I will actually try and get the things done. So that's the plan. That's what we're working on. And I hope that you've enjoyed this video. My plan is to do at least one reading vlog where I kind of have a go at reading some of these books and try and get through a couple of them, but I also will hopefully at some point film an update just to let you know how I'm going with my reading plan of my 14 books. I got my work cut out for me. Alright, thank you so much for watching and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.